So working. Check, check. There we go. Okay. We were just sitting pretty for a second, but now we have audio, correct? You can hear my cute little bracelet. Okay. Hi. Welcome back to another episode of Today's Weather Tonight. Here, as always, I am your meteorologist for the evening, Cloud Hudson. That's a comedian / meteorologist, because that's what I do. It's what I am. It's who I am. It's what this show is. It's one big joke. The joke is that these are actually my real life thoughts and beliefs and opinions on the weather. Yep, that's it. That's the whole joke, and the rest of it, I'm completely dead-ass serious. Hi. Tonight, we have quite a few stories to talk about, so let's go ahead and dive into our headlines, because, oh my gosh, we have quite the headlines to talk about. First of all, we had a 7.0 earthquake. Okay, oh man, I'm overloading the computer's lagging already. We had a 7.0 earthquake this afternoon in California. That was cause for a tsunami warning to be issued in the San Francisco Bay Area. The warning was issued following a magnitude 7.3 earthquake, but they canceled the warning as of 11:54 a.m. So it was supposed to hit between 11:20 and 12:10 between Oregon and San Francisco, but we did not get a tsunami associated with this. The quake with a preliminary magnitude of 7.0 struck about 62 miles west of Ferndale, California in Humboldt County on Thursday morning, putting at least 5.3 million people in California under a tsunami warning. No tsunami danger presently exists for the area. The earthquake struck at a depth of 10 kilometers, about 10:44 a.m. local time. No immediate damage or injuries were reported, according to the U.S. Geological Survey, which issued a yellow alert that signifies local damage. So there was some shaking going on, and they thought that would trigger a big old splashy boy, and apparently that did not occur. So that is good news. We thought, a tsunami is terrifying. We're glad that it didn't actually hit. A big picture news for today. The world has been warming way faster than expected. Scientists now know why. It is the albedo effect. The lack of low-lying stratified clouds across the ocean surface has resulted in faster heating of the earth than scientists predicted. Basically, this is a self-feeding engine. This is a thing that perpetuates itself. There have been less clouds over ocean areas of the Earth's surface. That means that the planet has darkened because ocean surfaces are darker than cloud surfaces, meaning that less heat, less of the sun's radiation, which is both heat and light and all kinds of different wavelengths, has been reflected by the clouds and is now getting absorbed into the oceans. So we are actually taking on more of the sun's energy. That's what the albedo effect is. Albedo is the ability of a surface to reflect the energy that the sun sends to us back out to the sun. A darker body, like darker land, like hot asphalt, if you think about dark asphalt as compared to like lighter paved asphalt. The dark asphalt absorbs heat, and since dark colors absorb all the wavelengths, it absorbs more of the energy. If it was lighter color, it would be reflecting all the wavelengths, meaning that it would just bounce off and not get absorbed into the matter. So when we have a darker Earth's surface, we're absorbing more of that heat energy. So the lack of clouds is like this. It's kind of like we're not wearing sunscreen and we're getting extra hot and sunburnt a little bit. And this is a self-feeding thing where as the climate warms, there are less clouds covering the ocean surface because the ocean surface clouds form in cooler air masses. This is also partially a result of better regulations on shipping emissions, because that's been one factor in maritime cloud generation. So it's kind of global warming and kind of checks on global warming. So, I mean, it's all one big headache. Yeah. So that's a fun headline. This one is just interesting. The European Space Agency launches spacecraft that will eventually create artificial solar eclipse. That's basically they're going to launch a rocket array formation, 2 spacecraft that were launched that will form a single ship that will create an artificial solar eclipse while in orbit. I wonder what effect that's going to have on us, if any. Massive winter storm. The other big weather news today is massive winter storm to hit the U.S. 18 inches of snow, blizzard warnings, and travel alerts. Here's where the hardest hit counties are. In addition to all the lake effect snow that's been going on in Pennsylvania and New York and Michigan in the recent days, past week, we're also expecting some of that lake effect snow and just general snowy winter weather to seep into the Appalachians, into the Ohio River Valley, into areas other than just New York State. But New York State is also getting up to 12 and 18 inches in some areas. Maryland and West Virginia might also be getting blizzards here tonight and tomorrow. We'll go to look at that soon. It's going to be terrible, terrible weather for traffic. Let's look now at, I forgot to go to volcanoes. Aftershocks ongoing after major earthquake. They could get big. So in addition to those 7.0s, we've got aftershocks going on. We'll take a look at that in a second when we go to Earthquake 3D. Still looking at 37 actively erupting volcanoes. See if I can sit back. There's a fly in here. I've never seen a fly in this house, and it is getting on my last nerve. I mean, it's not really getting on my nerves that bad, but it is quite bothersome. Okay. Volcanoes. Mount Ibu, Mount Sumeru, and Dukono and Fuego got featured in the satellite imagery roundup for today. Explosive activity continuing in all those places. Let's take a look. Oh, Stromboli back on our radar. Thermal webcam captured lava emissions on the Sciara del Fuoco yesterday. And Can Leone volcano. Okay, Stromboli, Aeolian Islands, Italy. The National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology reported a new lava started to descend on the upper Sciara del Fuoco flank at 1:09 local time on December 4th. The spattering-fed lava overflow has been emerging from the North Crater area. Meanwhile, the lava flow from the North Crater area ceased sometime yesterday and is now no longer active. The volcano's activity returned back to normal levels characterized with regular Strombolian explosions. Cool. So that's erupting again. Lewatobi Flores is continuing to erupt. So is Samiro in East Java. Dukono, Popo, all our regular players continue to erupt. And I believe Reykjanes continues its steady eruption. Let's just go ahead and make sure that is still going on. Yep, still erupting in the Sudnungskiger crater series. Getting some little shakes around there. Let's go ahead and look at earthquakes now. Okay, so obviously our big juicy one right here. Let's go ahead and turn our magnitudes down so we can see all the little aftershocks. Okay, I'm going to make the quake sizes smaller. Wow, that magnitude 7 is really sticking out. Let's look at everything above a 3. Woo, that is the size of the stack of quakes that we usually see in the 0, 1, and 2s range. That's just 3s and up. Okay, 4s and up. Wow, a lot of 4s too. Okay, that is 4.3 at 0 kilometers depth at 1:47 p.m. 4.4, 4.4, 4.2, 4.7. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4 point somethings. And then we're adding in several 3 and ups. And then we can see our original 7.0 here at 10 kilometers depth. Then as we add in our smaller quakes, you see it just skyrocket. The geysers also had its own good, decent stack. It's very interesting that here at the geysers is where we got another 4. You see where our normal stack is? That is the same location where we got this 4.3 after the, actually right after the 7.0. 7.0 was at 1:44 p.m. and this was at 1:47 p.m. So the first aftershock went to the geysers. So we already know that the geysers is a very seismically active area. It's kind of no shock that that's where our first, it got, all the energy got attenuated. Let's see. Rippling outward, I bet that the energy is going to spread down through Southern California into Texas, and then Tennessee, then around the North American Craton. Let's see what else we got. We got a 2.6 and a 4.7. This 4.7, is this in Venezuela? Yes. Guira. I don't know how to say that. Venezuela. It's got umlauts and it's Spanish, so don't know how to say that. 32 kilometers northwest of Guiria, Venezuela. Okay, I'm butchering that name. Let's go back. 4.4 down here in Peru, Ecuador, Payan, Ecuador, at 37 kilometers depth, and then a 5.1 at 10 kilometers depth down here on the East Ecuadorian rise. What am I saying? East Pacific rise. I don't know what I'm thinking. Out here in Hawaii, we got up to a 2.5, a couple 2.5s. Not too many here in Alaska, as all the activity was focused in California today. 4.4 out here off the coast of Japan at 70 kilometers depth. Very quiet in the Western Pacific today. Very quiet in most places globally, just looking at a real large concentration of all of our energy going right here to the 7.0 and probably to spread out in all directions. Okay, so that is the earthquake roundup. Let's go now to look at our atmosphere. Make this a little smaller. Put it on. One headline I didn't go over. USGS reports number of landslides caused by Hurricane Helene surpasses 2,000. So we finally got a USGS report of all the landslides caused by Hurricane Helene, and it is devastating looking. There were over, let's see, how many? 260 landslides of major concern. That's crazy. Okay. Aftershocks. We're going to get to Tom Skresha in a second. First of all, the blizzard. Let's take a look here at this is all of our lake effect snow. You can see those clouds banding in the direction of the wind. That means that that should illustrate for us that the wind is what's driving the formation of the clouds. The wind directing an air mass over this direction of lake and land is what's creating these stripy clouds. This will be probably very parallel to the contours. This is very geostrophic influence type wind. This is this is just plain and simple, probably very parallel to the pressure barbs or pressure isobars. God, I'm tongue-tied today. But all of this is going to reach further down into Indiana and Ohio, as well as Pennsylvania now, and getting some in West Virginia. I wouldn't be surprised if we got more surprise snow showers into the southern Appalachians like we have in like the past 2 times that it snowed in Asheville. It was looking like nothing really happening. Then randomly came down. So it could get further south than what is currently looking like. Let's take a look at the observations for today. Our observations show that, wow, look at all that temperature drop in Kentucky, from Kentucky to Missouri, just dropping over 30 degrees today with this cold front barreling in. Really a big pocket of cold air sweeping in. Let's see if I can see that on. They have that's not really showing what I want. It's not showing what I want either. Oh, well, let's look at observed snowfall. Wow, even more snowfall for the Northeast. Finally, we are getting some areas that aren't in the lake effect area. The lake effect snow area included in this blizzard or snowstorm, whatever you want to say. All throughout New England and Maine, and like deeper into the state of New York, and actually in New York City a little bit too. We're getting a lot more snowfall, near like 5 and 6 inches. Some places just a dusting to 1 inch to 2 inches. In 24 hours, this is what we've gotten. Or 48 hours, and in 72 hours, this is what we've gotten. And that is the bulk of the snow for the season for some places. Now, let's take a look at observed precipitation, because what we saw yesterday in the Gulf Coast was pretty significant as well. We got up to over 4 inches in the Arklatex region. I like saying Arklatex. Okay, let's go now to look at our Schumann resonances, because this is very related to the Earth, or to the Earth weather. Look at the very bright sonogram readings for the Schumann resonances. Now, these are very heavy in the lower frequencies, but there are some random bursts, some pockets at places like 22 hertz here, just around 27 hertz, and then even some higher ones like 35. God, this stupid fly is like not even big enough to like find and kill. We got a steady band popping up here at like 36 hertz and a little bit above that. Some random voices coming in. Voices being the frequencies, the tone of the chain, the voice of the Earth has changed. Now, is that because of a passing weather system in Tomsk, Russia, where this observation station is? No, actually. There has been pretty marginal weather in Tomsk, marginal thunder weather. There's been some precipitation in the area. There's been some clouds in the area, but there hasn't been any like significant lightning to speak of. Nothing that would warrant that much Schumann resonance activity. So that is really interesting. I think there's a lot of information getting into our Earth's atmosphere that way. Speaking of our Earth's atmosphere, getting into it, let's go to our magnetosphere. Take a look at velocities. Ooh, look at all these wavy waves, all the solar radiation coming at us. Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Incredible. Great work. Great job, magnetosphere. You're keeping us safe. I feel protected, like we're wearing a big old magnetic cozy blanket. I'm wearing a cozy blanket. Beautiful. Very low density around in the magnetosphere right now. That backwash shell has got some higher pressure, but really low density overall. Let's take a look at our solar weather with this. Ooh, we had 2 coronal mass ejections that might have partial halos, and that was out of only 4 CMEs today. Okay, do you not want to play? Whoa, not too impressive, but still, wow, I see it. I see it. That's a good flinger. Flicking its boogers, its sun boogers on us. Let's try this one. Ooh, that one's decent too. That was in a very different quadrant. Let's see where they came from. Maybe these 2 new beta gamma type sunspot regions. These are recently classified as beta gamma, I think. Solar protons haven't changed, and our 24-hour max X-ray flux is still at the M2.59 that we got yesterday, just before midnight. We got like 4. Actually, on the 5th, no, this was today. We had 1, 2, 3 M-class territory peak flares. That's cool. Our SDO servers are still out, but we can watch the activity on SOHO. Beautiful. Seeing some very bright spots. And there's a big launch right there. Let's see. It doesn't really show very much recently. Kind of cuts off early there. Take a look at auroral activity. Hemispheric power is up, and we are in a southward tilt. We had a type 2 radio emission today, as well as that M2.59 flare and a minor radio blackout. Okay. Let's see if Goes has some, I mean, it's a very pretty sun. I wish I had some GIFs, some motion views of it, but still really gorgeous to see these big coronal holes here. It's kind of hard to tell without that SDO moving imagery, but I think that these are moving fluidly enough to create quite a dynamic surface of the sun. This is a really stormy looking sun. I expect these sunspot groups to strengthen and increase in intensity because we've got a lot of bright regions paired with a lot of coronal holes. Now let's take a look at our astrology. Planets for today, we've got the moon in Aquarius at 13 degrees, making a somewhat happy trine to Jupiter in Gemini, and a sextile to, God dang it, that stupid fly, sextile to the Sun conjunct Mercury at 14 degrees of Sagittarius. This is also the exact Mercury Cazimi day. Mercury is conjunct the Sun and has retrograded past the Sun's position now. You are going to get it. The Mercury has overtaken the Sun, gone back. It will continue to go in retrograde motion until it then seems to double back on itself and make another conjunction with the Sun and then continue on its forward motion path. So first, it's going to make the retrograde conjunction with the Sun, and then it'll make a direct conjunction with the Sun. So we had our biggest Mercury retrograde feeling days here today, I think. And that happened like pretty well opposite Jupiter and Gemini. So something is related to ascension, philosophy, religion, higher learning, studies, spiritual discipline, mastery, putting your nose to the grindstone. Maybe you're trying really hard to put into practice what you philosophically believe, and that is in dialogue with abundance socially, abundance, growth, expansion, and limitations, beyond limitations in our social networks and spheres. That is all squaring Saturn in Pisces, so related to our constraints when it comes to overindulging and escapist tendencies. Now, what else? Venus is almost done with her transit through Capricorn, and she will then meet Pluto in Aquarius and overtake Pluto to move throughout Aquarius. And then nobody else really will be aspecting Uranus by sign for the first time in a long while. We'll have an empty Capricorn again, thank God, and then it'll be Capricorn season again. Just never get a break, do we? Okay, I think that is where I want to leave it on the astrology front. Hey, y'all, that was the planetary weather. We're I'm trying to make these shows just a little shorter or start them earlier, but I always get distracted online because my laptop doesn't work right now. So I keep getting stuck doing other computer things when I get on this one. Yeah, this is the vibe weather portion. I don't know if you guys are familiar with my theory on the weather, but everything is the weather. All vibes, all frequencies are part of a continuous gradient of things interacting with each other in a mesh, a web. This is all part of the weather. So this is the vibe weather tonight. Yep. It'll be science and technology eventually. You will understand what I'm talking about eventually. It all makes sense. Okay. Let's get a reading for the vibe weather coming in from, what is this Mercury conjunct Sun giving us? What's today's Mercury Cazimi retrograde in Sagittarius giving us? Seeking approval of others hinders my joyousness. It's got a picture of a caged bird in a tree. If the way you feel depends on anything outside of you, you're in trouble. But if you depend only upon your connection with your own inner being, then everything in your experience falls into alignment. Good lesson. Good reminder. Am I going to take the reminder? I hope so. Next, with the flashy labby, I'm going to get a little bit of advice from my holographic tarot deck. Seeking approval of others hinders my joyousness. Interesting commentary from the cards tonight. What goes with that one? What is part of that vibe from Sagittarius? Like getting conjunctions of things in Sagittarius, because that's where the galactic center is actually. Sagittarius is the direction of the galactic center. Okay, what? Anybody want to jump out? Nope. Okay. Hold on. Somebody felt jumpy here. 5 of Swords upright. 5 of Swords upright. So this card depicts a man holding 3 swords and 2 men in the back with their swords on the ground, and they're like, nee. This is the aftermath of a fight or an argument. You can see from the winds that it's not an active storm, but there is very unsettled weather going on. Unsettled weather, that ominous, windy, it looks cold kind of sky. 5 is an uneasy number. It's an unsettled number, but it's liberation from the structure of 4, but it's also not secure. You can't always be right. The vibe of winning an argument is not a vibe you should be like finding your ultimate comfort and grounding in. Just because you're right doesn't mean you're safe. Just because you beat someone in a duel of wits doesn't mean you've won. It just means that you outsmarted them. It doesn't mean that you are any more comfortable, loved, safe, living in your truth or purpose. Maybe your truth or purpose was to be a loser or wrong in this conversation. And people feeling smug, people feeling better than other people because of their philosophy. Seeking approval of others hinders my joyousness. Seeking being right in the conversation also hinders your joyousness. Seeking information just to be correct also hinders joy. Seeking information for the delight of the pursuit of the knowledge, that makes you joyful. Okay. Got a ocean jasper with the liminal space deck. Welcome, everybody. Glad you're here. Thanks for joining me tonight. Update was that there was the hurricane. There was the earthquake off the coast of California that did not end up triggering a tsunami, even though it did trigger a tsunami warning. And there is a blizzard going on in much of the Northeast, New England area, the Great Lakes area, and the Ohio River Valley. Well, not really the River Valley. Indiana and Ohio are experiencing blizzard conditions. Also, there are heightened Schumann resonance activities. There's a lot brewing in the atmosphere. We're gearing up for 2025. We're in the lead up. And we've got a jumper out of this deck. It says, let it rain, let it rain, let it rain. The first two times it's spelled like the precipitation and rain, and the second time it's spelled like the monarchy rain. And it has a picture of a crown and raindrops on it. So let's see what the interpretation is for that one. It cannot rain forever, but it can rain for longer than you can imagine, and even longer than that. You know, maybe you will be as miserable as long as you want to be miserable, and even then, you will be miserable longer than that, too. Interesting. I feel this one is calling me out personally for my codependent tendencies in seeking approval from other people, living my life based on trying to win the approval or admiration or love of others, even if they tell me they love me, or I just can't believe it, or just caring way too much what people think is keeping me in a state of perpetual stasis in discomfort. I feel pretty comfortable and happy and joyous, but I could feel so much better if I was not so attached to the approval of others. So wish me luck on moving through this energy. I hope that you guys are also living for yourselves, your truths, and your alignment with your higher self, and reunion with your higher power, with God, with the weather itself. I hope that you are self-actualizing and finding something that gives you joy. This fly has not found what its joy is, and I'm going to find it something joyful. Okay. That is it for tonight. This has been another episode of Today's Weather Tonight with Cloud Hudson. That's me. Tune in every night around 11 or 12 p.m., the last hour of the day, every day, for a little update on what weather actually happened today. Because I'm not a forecaster, just recapping the weather. I'm just telling you what already happened. So I'm the only meteorologist that's always 100% right. Because I am only telling you what actually did happen on this timeline. It's kind of like a vibe check for if you're a time traveler, which timeline you landed on. You landed on the one where this was what the weather was on this day in history. That should be a good guidepost for you. Okay. Love you guys. Have a great evening. Bye.